In this presentation we're going to look at dividing 3-digit numbers by 1-digit numbers. So where do we start? The children already know all their basic facts, they now are comfortable dividing 2-digit by 1-digit, so really it's pretty simple. Make up a reason, have a story for the kids to need to divide, and then just go ahead and show it using the place value chart and the base 10 materials, and then later on go to the pencil and paper. So, what story will we use? Well, today we're going to be dividing 653 by 4. And the sorts of children that you're working with on this are children who are reasonably advanced with their numeracy skills. They're in grade 5, 6 or 7, so they're 10, 11, 12 years of age, and they're ready for this. They know all their multiplication facts, they know how to multiply, so they're ready to do the division. Now, I find with children of this age that working with money really works. They love it, they get it, and they're happy to divide it and share it, because remember, division's all about sharing. So my story for this one would be something like, well, 4 children were walking home from school one day. They left the school grounds and entered the park. Walking across the park, they found a nice, neat pile of money. Of course, they counted it and they found that there was $653. And looking around, they could see that there was no one else around who could possibly own it, so they decided to share it. As one of our clever people in one of our training sessions said, oh, sharing is easy. I'll take the hundreds, you take the tens, you take the ones, and you miss out. Bad luck. Which is a great story to use for kids in upper primary, because they get quite indignant and say, oh, that's not fair, I want to get the same share as everybody else. Which just shows that they really understand that division is about sharing equally. So that's great to use. So we want to make sure we don't miss out on our just desserts and the amount of money we should have. How much will I get if 4 of us share $653? Let's have a look at the place value chart and the base 10 materials and do that. So here's our 653, and we're going to share it amongst 4. So where do you start? You start with the largest number, in this case the hundreds. Let's share the good stuff first. So if there are 4 people and 6 hundreds, then that means there's 100 each. And now that we've shared out those hundreds, there's 2 hundreds remaining, which means we can't share 2 hundreds amongst 4 people unless we rename them and build them out of tens. So let's take this 100 and replace it with 10 tens. And put that with the other tens. And we'll take this 100 and replace it with 10 tens and put that with the other tens. We now have 25 tens to share amongst 4 people. The nearest basic fact is 6 fours are 24. So what that means is that all 4 people will get 6 tens. So we share out the tens. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 tens for that person. 6 tens for that person. 6 tens for that person. And 6 tens for that person. What that means now is that we have 1 10 left. And so obviously to share that, we're going to need to rename that as well. So we'll get rid of that 10 and rename it as 10 ones and put it with the other ones. Now we have 13 ones to share. 4 people sharing 13 ones, 4 threes are 12. So everybody's going to get 3 ones. And we have 1 remaining. When you've just received $163, maybe you won't argue over who gets that last dollar. You might toss for it. So we've shared out all our money, we've shared out everything, we've shown how division works. Now we're going to look at it, and we'll look at it and see how it works with just the pencil and paper. So once you've done a number of those using the base 10 materials and the place value chart, you do it again and again with different examples that the child will understand, and you build up that language, you build up that the process, so that when you move just to pencil and paper, the child is ready. And at first you would do it with the materials, and then right beside it you'd do it with the pencil and paper. But eventually our goal is so that the child doesn't need to use the materials. They just, if they have a computation to work out, for a problem to solve, they just use their pencil and paper for the computation. So we had 653 shared among 4. And we try and make our language the same as we did when we were doing it with the materials. Where do we start? We start with the largest amount, we share the hundreds first. So 4 people sharing 6 hundreds, each person receives 100, which means that 4 hundreds have been taken out of our original amount. There are 2 hundreds remaining. So that we can share those hundreds, we rename it as tens and we put it with the other tens. So 2 hundreds becomes 20 tens, and we already have 5 tens. So now we have 25 tens to share. 4 people sharing 25 tens is 6 tens each, which means we've shared out 24 of the tens. There's 1 10 remaining, and to share that 10 we'll need to rename that as ones and put it with the other ones. So that becomes 10 ones, and we already have 3 ones. So we now have 13 ones to share for our 4 friends. 4 threes are 12, so that means they all get 3 each, which means we've shared out 12 and there's 1 left. The remainder of 1. So 653 shared among 4 or divided by 4 gives $163 each with a remainder of 1.